Batman is one of the best street-level heroes in comics. The Caped Crusader is one of the best fighters, the pinnacle of human physical potential, and has enough gear to be ready for anything the streets of Gotham can throw at him. But just how good is he really? Well, today we're putting that to the test. Batman is going to run through a gauntlet of all sorts of street-level heroes from Marvel Comics. We're going to rank them based on their shot at actually taking the Dark Knight down. So let's get to it. Bruce Wayne was the son of wealthy philanthropist Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne, and seemed destined for a life among the elite of the crime-ridden streets of Gotham City. That is, until his parents were shot dead in an alleyway while walking home. Forever scarred and changed by the loss, Bruce used his family's wealth to travel the world and acquire the skills, training, and technology he needed to begin his one-man war on the crime of Gotham City. He became Batman, a caped vigilante who crusades against the scum and filth of his home city's underworld. After becoming a founding member of the Justice League, Batman quickly became known as one of the most feared individuals in the DC universe, holding his own against superpowered criminals, monsters, and even gods, all in order to protect the innocent from those who would do them harm. And I want to give Batman his flowers here. The guy has trained himself until he's reached peak human physical levels, then basically shattered all records and became above peak human. He's strong enough to bench press over 1,000 pounds, rip through metal, or even knock around things that easily weigh multiple tons. And Bruce has no problem using all that strength of his punches or kicks. He's regularly knocking down walls or kicking through metal, regularly knocking out metahumans and sending people flying dozens of feet with just one strike. Batman might not necessarily look it, and he is supposed to be just a normal human, but you can kind of say that essentially, whatever Captain America can do, Batman can pull off something similar. Sure, Steve might be ultimately a bit stronger, but Bruce is well within that super soldier range of strength. Same with durability. Batman is incredibly durable, especially with his incredible armor. Now, out of his armor, Batman has taken some pretty nasty beatings, even an attack or two from Wonder Woman, so he's definitely tough. And his bat suit only adds on to that even more. He's regularly taken attacks from all sorts of opponents, some of whom are seriously strong. I'm talking your Venom-amped Banes, your Deathstrokes, even some much heavier hitters like Professor Zoom, Aquaman, or even Superman. And those last two were either mind-controlled or just royally pissed off, so they weren't necessarily holding back all that much. Batman's armor is also completely bulletproof. It's allowed him to survive some pretty massive explosions. Batman has even survived falling from the moon and crash landing down on the Earth. He's incredibly tough. And lastly, I feel like I should mention speed. Batman is incredibly fast and agile, far superior to even Olympic-level athletes. Like at this point, normal people simply move in slow motion to him. He can move so fast, he's just simply a blur, and Batman has routinely been able to dodge bullets and gunfire, even if it's automatic machine gun fire or bullets fired at literally point-blank range. Batman can still dodge all of it. He might still call himself just a normal human, but I think it's pretty clear that he's moved a little bit past that by now. But Batman isn't just in peak physical condition. That's not the only thing he's got going for him. He's also arguably the world's best fighter. And if you don't want to put him at the tippy top, well, you can count on one hand the people who are better than him. He's trained to perfection and become a master in every form of combat that there is. He can react and fight without even thinking, and is trained to be able to predict an opponent's move to the point where he knows his opponent's next move before even they do. He's an expert in every single fighting style known to man, a lot of other alien fighting styles too, and so he can quickly and effortlessly switch between fighting styles on the fly or to perfectly counter and take down an opponent. he's been able to regularly fight against some of the best martial artists in the world, like Lady Shiva, Bronze Tiger, Owlman, even Karate Kid. And you know what? He oftentimes wins these fights, like he's regularly been tested by the best assassins and martial artists in the world. Ra's al Ghul and Lady Shiva are constantly trying to test Batman with the best of the best, and they usually pick the most inopportune times, like when Batman is off his game or recovering from grievous injuries. But Batman still tends to come out on top every single time. There's a reason why he's known as the best of the best. He also comes equipped with pretty much every weapon and gadget you could possibly imagine, outside of guns and stuff, of course. He's got batarangs, his signature weapon, and he's probably one of the world's best shots when it comes to throwing them. He's got some pretty serious explosives, some of which can even stagger and knock back Kryptonians. He's got electrical weapons powerful enough to send out tens of thousands of volts, sonic grenades, even knockout gas or tranks that can put down superhumans. Not to mention, Batman is a literal super genius. He's a brilliant tactician, a master planner and strategist. He's routinely able to take down bigger or more powerful threats simply because he outthinks them. There's a reason why, even though he's still just a human, Batman is one of the most respected heroes and feared men on the planet. It's because he's the Batman. And starting out, well, we got the Punisher. And Punisher goes in the no chance category, because realistically, well, Punisher just has no chance. And I don't want to minimize Frank here. He's still skilled enough and just straight ballsy enough to give Batman a good fight. We've seen him go up against Daredevil enough times to know that's possible. But in no world is Punisher actually beating Batman, because it's Batman. However, I'm going to say that Black Panther can beat Batman, because in a lot of ways, Batman and Black Panther are dang near equals. Bruce is probably the more skilled hand-to-hand fighter, but T'Challa is actually the only one here who's enhanced with the heart-shaped herb. And while I guess you could argue that Batman has more variety of his tech and gear, it's kinda hard to argue that he's actually got better gear. It's really hard to get better than vibranium tech. And I think it's that vibranium edge that takes it from a straight 50-50 fight to actually saying that Black Panther can beat Batman. Great fight though. Now, next up, Black Widow. And I'm gonna say that she can land a few good punches. Because little known fact, in the comics, Black Widow is actually a super soldier. As fast, strong, and tough as any woman one day could be. Just like Captain America. Problem for her is, even though that is true, just based on feats, she's Batman's equal at best. More realistically, well, Batman probably still holds a physical edge over her. He might be considered peak human, but just based on feats, well, he's clearly superhuman. Guy's a beast. Now, Black Widow is a really skilled fighter, and being a spy and assassin, well, she'll have no problem trying to stab or shoot Batman. And she can give Bruce a run for his money for a time in this fight. Captain America and Winter Soldier even acknowledged just how dangerous Widow is. But honestly, Black Widow just isn't up there in the tip top of Marvel fighters. She doesn't hold a skill advantage over Batman, and if Bruce can take down Lady Shiva, well then Black Widow isn't anything new to him. The real issue is that Bruce seems to have a problem with girls in tight leather outfits. And this one's a redhead. But still, Batman wins. I'm gonna say that Moon Knight can land a few good punches as well. And really the highest you could put Moon Knight will be saying it's a 50-50 fight. Realistically though, he really has no shot at beating Batman, excluding the times when Khonshu amps him up to godlike levels. Because for as good as Moon Knight is, Batman is his better in pretty much every single way. Spectre has peak human stats, he's a world-class fighter, and he carries around a massive arsenal at all times. Batman is still physically superior, the better fighter, and has the better tech. So really the only thing that Moon Knight has in his corner is that he's absolutely insane, and just fights like a madman. And obviously that's nothing Batman hasn't seen before. While Moon Knight is more aggressive and brutal, he's also more reckless and leaves himself open to attacks and even allows himself to get hit, none of which is really good when facing off against Batman. I'm gonna say that Iron Fist can 50-50 with Batman, because seriously, this fight is just insanely close. Both are absolute master martial artists, two of the best fighters on the planet. It's really hard to say that one is definitely better than the other. I'd probably lean towards saying that Batman is more technically skilled and the better fighter, but it's so close that I could be swayed to saying that Danny is actually the more skilled one. And while Batman has a ton of tech and gadgets at his disposal, that's really nothing when compared to Iron Fist's chi manipulation. For starters, well, it makes him straight up superhuman, so a physical edge over Bruce. But it's really that Iron Fist. Batman isn't surviving a direct hit from the fist. There's a good argument that Danny could just simply one-shot. Of course, I guess you could also argue that Batman can one-shot with his tech, but that's why this fight is a 50-50. I'm gonna say that Elektra has no chance at beating Batman. And that's nothing against Elektra, it's Batman. Elektra is a notorious assassin, she's got some serious skill, has been able to give Daredevil some good fights throughout the years. But she also notoriously gets beaten by a bunch of street-level characters, like Daredevil and Bullseye, or when she was dumb enough to stand up to Luke Cage. Batman would have no problem putting Elektra down. He's been there, done that. Shang-Chi is gonna go 50-50 with Batman, because I think Shang-Chi is one of the few guys in Marvel that you can actually argue is more skilled than Batman. He's maybe the best and most skilled fighter in all of Marvel. But for the longest time, the edge that Batman held over Shang-Chi was that, one, he was just as skilled and dangerous in a fight, but two, he had an insane loadout and all sorts of gear and weapons, while Shang-Chi had to rely on just hand-to-hand skill. So obviously, Batman held that advantage over him. But now, well, the playing field is evened out a little bit. And I'm not even just talking about a whole bunch of adamantium weapons, but there's also the 10 rings. Weapons that can rival the Infinity Gauntlet in power and even overpower the power cosmic. Yeah, with the 10 rings, well, Shang-Chi just made this fight a whole lot more 50-50, if not actually having the edge himself now. Love Hawkeye, but he's got no chance at beating Batman. It's pretty clear that Clint is near equals to Green Arrow over in DC Comics, and Batman has shown time and time again how a fight between him and Ollie would play out. Don't see a fight between Batman and Hawkeye playing out any differently. I'm gonna say that Luke Cage can beat Batman. A super soldier created through prison experiments, well, Luke Cage is seriously powerful. Like, sure, Batman is able to fight against Bane, he's able to fight against Killer Croc, he's no stranger to fighting against strong opponents. But Cage is strong. Like stronger than Spider-Man strong. And strong enough to easily overpower some of Spider-Man's villains, like Venom or Green Goblin, even one-shotting Rhino, a guy who's so strong that Spider-Man is actually scared when he has to fight him. One punch from Luke Cage is gonna knock Batman out. It's just gonna take one hit. And Luke Cage is so tough and durable that pretty much nothing is gonna hurt him. None of Batman's normal weapons are gonna do anything. He shrugged off electricity, he can take explosions point blank, freeze blast don't do anything, acid doesn't do anything, you can't break his skin so you can't tranquilize him. Really, he's so tough. And while yeah, one time Black Panther managed to take him down of nerve strikes, there have been so many other instances of Luke just casually brushing off nerve attacks, not even being affected, that you can kinda count that as just a one-off. Batman will be able to take down Luke Cage with prep time, but just in a random encounter, Luke is stronger and tougher than all of Batman's rogues. He'd have no problem knocking Batman out, and it'd be nigh impossible for Batman to reliably hurt him. Might be crazy, but I think Deadpool lands a few good hits on Batman, which I know is kinda crazy to say because of his healing factor, but just hear me out. Batman is obviously the more skilled fighter out of the two. He's obviously got better experience and better weapons and everything. It's really Deadpool's healing factor, and I guess his insanity. And looking at Batman's rogues, well, I don't think Deadpool's insanity is really going to be that big of a factor. And so it's really Deadpool's healing factor. It's the crux to this whole fight. But I'm going to argue that while Deadpool's healing factor will always bring him back, it's not always fast enough to keep him in a fight. We've seen that pure technical skill is a pretty effective counter against Deadpool and his powers and fighting style. That's a pretty good advantage for Batman. And while it might take some time, once Batman realizes that Deadpool does in fact have a healing factor and can heal from lethal attacks, which, let's be honest, Deadpool is likely to just shout that fact out mid-fight, well, that's when I think Batman is going to be able to go all out and take him down. We've already seen this with Deadpool's fight against Moon Knight. Moon Knight was trying to hold back in the fight because he was going through an era where he was trying not to kill, and Deadpool graciously let it slip that he can't be killed because he's got a healing factor. This meant that Moon Knight could go all out in the fight and finally let loose. He beat Deadpool so badly that Wade needed 2 IVs to help him heal and recover. I really think the same thing is going to happen here. However, I'm going to totally switch it up and say that Wolverine can beat Batman. It's not necessarily just about the healing factor this time, although yes, that obviously helps Wolverine out a lot because he can survive literally anything that Batman throws at him. But so could Deadpool. So what's the difference? Well, when Wolverine is actually taking a fight seriously, he's a top 10 fighter in Marvel, with an argument to be top 5. While Batman is more skilled than Wolverine on the whole, Wolverine is definitely skilled enough to press Batman in a fight. And then it's the claws. One hit and the fight is instantly in Wolverine's favor. Because as good as Bruce's armor is, it's not good enough to stop adamantium. And Wolverine is good enough at what he does to land that one hit, hence why he can beat Batman. I'm gonna say that Captain America goes 50-50 with Batman here, because honestly, I've always seen this fight as straight up 50-50 and the purest 50-50 fight out there in comics. Captain America is one of the greatest fighters in all of comics. He holds the slight physical edge over Batman by nature of being a super soldier, and his shield is the best weapon in the fight. It's the perfect offensive and defensive weapon, and Steve is the master when it comes to using it. But you can argue that Batman has way more skill and versatility when it comes to different fighting styles he can pull upon. He's got way more versatile tech and some weapons that Cap can't see coming. It's actually nearly on par with Steve when it comes to physicality. Like I said, this is pretty much straight up 50-50. I'm gonna say that Daredevil can go 50-50 with Batman, although it's honestly probably more like 60-40 in Batman's favor. But it just felt disingenuous to put Daredevil in the land a few good punches category. Because Daredevil is a near physical equal for Batman. He's honestly probably faster and more agile than Bruce, and Matt is a world-class fighter, definitely skilled enough to give Batman a good fight. But ultimately, while Batman is physically superior, he is the better fighter, and there's the fact that Matt is blind, and that's an advantage that Batman will definitely exploit. Daredevil is 100% skilled enough to make this fight close, though, hence why it belongs in the 50-50 category. And last but not least, well, it's Spider-Man. And Spider-Man can beat Batman here. He's physically outstanding Batman by a massive degree. I'm talking like a massive degree. Peter is so much faster, stronger, and tougher than Bruce that you could honestly argue that he has the ability to one-shot Batman and dodge every single attack that Batman throws his way. Of course, that's Spider-Man going all out and not holding back, which he rarely ever does. But you get my point. Not saying that Batman couldn't give Spider-Man a good fight, keep him on his toes, but at the end of the day, well, this is really Spider-Man's fight to lose.